How you doing? My name is Christopher Brown, host of the podcast Sports Talk with Chris, and today I have a bittersweet video for you. The sweet part about it is I'm back dropping content. It's been a while since I dropped on YouTube. Same thing with my podcast. I got a lot of new things going on. My microphone's fixed. My laptop's fixed. I have a new monitor coming in Friday, so I'm going to be able to live stream. You're going to see way more YouTube content from me. I have a lot of stuff planned for this week, which I'm going to talk about towards the end. I got an NFL podcast on the audio platforms coming out tomorrow. So I'm back dropping content. That's the sweet part about it. But the bitter part about this video is the topic. I didn't think I'd be here today, making this video. As you see by the tweet right here, I thought the Philadelphia 76ers were going to walk right into the Eastern Conference Finals. But that didn't happen. Now I had to wait a couple of days to make this video because if I was to make this fresh, I want to think nobody would want to watch that. It was just filled with anger, confusion, upset, rage, all the emotions, all bottled up. Why? Because of the Philadelphia 76ers. It's their fault. I feel like this. It's their fault. All the fans feel like this. They ruined it. They messed everything up. And now it's time to explain what happened. So in this video, I'm going to be recapping the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Atlanta Hawks Eastern Conference semifinals series. The entire series, every single game. At the end, I'm going to be talking about my takeaways, and then I'm going to be telling you what's coming next for the Philadelphia 76ers and my videos on them. Now let's start off with Game 1. Game 1, I was very disappointed. Very disappointed because I believe, and I'm going to say this a lot in this video, I believe every single game is a must-win. I truly believe that, especially in the playoffs. 4 wins to move on and 4 losses until you're in Cancun. Sixers are in Cancun right now. They waited too long Game 1 to get going. In the fourth quarter, everything started rolling. I believe they scored 41 points in the fourth quarter. Joel Embiid came alive. The role players were playing good. The defense was playing good. Now I believe there is no such thing as a moral victory in the playoffs because, like I said, 4 wins and 4 losses. However, if I believed in it, Game 1 was a moral victory. We had the momentum leaving Game 1, and it translated to Game 2. We were able to win that game by 16 points. I know a lot of people are talking about Shake Milton's performance. I believe he had about 14 minutes, and they were saying, what if Shake didn't do that? You got to understand, that was Shake Milton's average. He just got cold, sadly, at the wrong time towards the end of the season in the playoffs, so he found his way outside of the rotation. But Shake Milton was giving us 13, 14 points a game. If you remember, right there again, I picked Shake Milton to win 6th Man of the Year. And so I'm not surprised at the performance he had, and I don't understand why other people are surprised because, like Shaq says, even though he said he was surprised, your role players win you games. And so if the Hawks role players helped them win Game 1, what's wrong with our role players helping us win Game 2? Another reason why we were successful in Game 2, not only that we came out more focused and more disciplined, is because Doc Rivers probably made one of the only adjustments he made this entire series, and I feel like he was forced to put Ben Simmons on Trae Young. I do not understand why he started out the game with Danny Green on Trae Young. I love Danny Green, but one thing about him that he showed this entire year from all the teams we played is that he can be a very good second, third defender. Very good second, third defender on the team. But he cannot guard nobody. That game is shiftiness and quickness. And that's all Trae Young is. He's shifty and he's really, really quick. Danny Green just does not have the lateral quickness to stay up with him. That's why, Trae Young was able to dominate us like he did in Game 1. Going over to Game 3, it was the same thing. We're in Atlanta now. Again, most dominant team in this series. Dominated. I'm not even going to get to that part yet. My emotions is about to come out. But, in Game 3, we won 127-111. We were the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. We did have 3 guys on the all-defensive team. We were a top 3 defense. We were a very good offense. So I'm not surprised at the outcome. Everybody's getting involved. Ben Simmons, he had a good second half. Joel Embiid is doing Joel Embiid things. Seth Curry, who played phenomenal this series, is doing what he has to do. Tobias. But let's get on to Game 4. This is where everything turned. How do you blow an 18-point lead? How do you blow an 18-point lead? I just don't understand how you do this. 18-point lead. And like I said earlier, I think every game is a must-win in the playoffs. But I really believe this was a must-win for the Philadelphia 76ers because if you win Game 4, you're up 3-1. You're up 3-1 and then you go home. Let me scoot up so y'all can hear me. You go home. You go home. We're up 3-1. We're going back to the crib. we're going back to the crib to end this series off. But instead, they put on it with their thumbs. We blow an 18-point lead. 18-point lead. We win this game. We're up 3-1. We're going home. One of the best home teams in the NBA for the past couple of years. But instead, twiddling with their thumbs, we take a L. Like I said, it was 100 to 103. Let's pull up the box score so we can really talk about this. Tobias Harris, 20 points. You know, he played a good game. He's very efficient. I'm going to get about Tobias, you know. I'm going to talk about him more at the end, but I got a lot to say about Tobias, you know, coming soon. It's hard to talk about this series recap and not really express everything I want to about the Philadelphia 76ers, but I got more videos coming for that. But let's talk about Joel Embiid in Game 4. 4 for 20, 1 for 4. He did have 21 rebounds, dominant on the boards, you know, but he was taking way too many jump shots. Look at this shot chart right here. Look at all those jump shots Joel Embiid is taking. Come on, Joel. What are you doing? You're too dominant. Clint Capella cannot guard Joel Embiid on the block. He dominates him every single time. Every single time. So I don't understand. Like, I understand what Shaq and them say. You know, they say that Joel Embiid bails out the defense when he takes jumpers. And I believe that. But sometimes, you know, when they're falling. He can knock them down. I think he shot close to 50% from the mid-range this year. But when the jump shots are not falling, you know, 1-4 from the three-point line, once you were 1 for 3, get in the paint, get on the block. Once you miss a couple of these jumpers, get on the block. You know, instead, you know, and I'm, you know, it's hard, like I said, not to talk about everything I want to talk about, but, you know, especially in this game, I understand you got to shoot jumpers because you got Ben Simmons in the paint, you got Tobias in the paint. But again, adjustments, Doc Rivers. You got to have Joel Embiid out there with 4 shooters around him. Everybody space out the floor and let him eat the inside. If you double team, I'm kicking out to a shooter. I'm kicking out to a shooter. Instead, Joel Embiid wanted to be the team's best shooter, and look how that happened. You know, it went all bad. I look at the Hawks box score. You get 25 from Trae Young, but he has 26 shot attempts. Again, everything is made hard for Trae Young, but he has 18 assists. Why? Because everybody's spaced out. He's kicking at the shooters, and they knock down their shots. Bogdanovich, even though he was 4 for 13, he has some big shots. Hubert, you know, 2 for 5. Easy lobs to Capella, easy lobs to John Collins. Again, let's look at some more shot charts. I showed you Joel Embiid on the jumpers he took. You know, let's look at Trae Young. Look at all these threes he's taking. All these threes he's taking. And Trae Young game is simple. It's 3-pointers or it's that floater. But there's no mid-ranges. It's 3-pointers of paint. 3-pointers of paint. 3-pointers of paint. He's getting all his shots up. He's getting all his shots up. But it's just, again, this is a hard game to lose. You lose, you know, 18-point lead. You know, again, going to Joel Embiid. Let's look at it. I showed you the entire shot chart. You know, let's look at the second half. What does that say? Do I got to zoom in for you a little bit? I will. 0 for 12 in the second half, Joel Embiid. You know, terrible. The entire team was terrible in the second half. The entire team. The entire team was terrible in the second half. But now let's talk about Game 5. Game 5. Again, another must win. You're tied 2-2. You're going home. You're not playing on the road. You're going home. Again, the Philadelphia 76ers were one of the best home teams for the past couple of years. And again this season. Number 1 seed in the East. Why did they want it? To have home court advantage. Again, beautiful first half. Beautiful first half. And a collapse in the second. You blow a 26-point lead. So Game 4 was an 18-point lead. And so Game 5, you want to up yourself and blow a 26-point lead? I lost it. I lost it because I just don't understand. I look at the rotations. I'm looking at Maxey. I'm looking at Dwight Howard. I'm looking at Ben Simmons all on the court at the same time. When you got Ben Simmons and Dwight both looking in the air, lost. Lost. I just do not understand the rotations, Doc Rivers. I don't understand the mindset, Philadelphia 76ers. Again, the bench is out there for far too long. The rotations you have are terrible. If you ask me, once Dwight Howard isn't working, and I've been saying this from day one. We needed a stretch 4 or stretch 5. It would have helped this series. You put Ben at the 5, and you surround Ben with your shooters. Clint Capella, just attack him. And Clint Capella is not your offensive center. They're rookie, He's not their offensive center, and he's a rookie. He's young. He's getting put in the right positions to be successful. So why don't you put pressure on him, Doc Rivers, instead of just putting Dwight out there that's just going to do the same old thing? No, man, no adjustments. You blow 26-point lead at the crib. Let's look at some of these shot charts. Who want to talk about first? You're looking at Embiid. Let's look at Embiid in the second half. 3 for 9. Second half. Let's look at my guy Curry. 9 for 12. But now let's look at everybody else not named Joel Embiid or not named Seth Curry. You see a pattern? 0 for 11. You got 7+ guys that go 0 for 11. Where are the shot opportunities? Doc Rivers, where are the plays calling up for Tobias Harris, the guy you called your closer? Let's look at the box score. Let's look at the box score for this game. Let's see what Tobias did. 2 for 11. See what Furkan Korkmaz did. Had to fill in for injured Danny Green. 2 for 7, 1 for 5. Let's look at Ben. 4 for 14 from the free throw line. That's another thing in this game. We blow a 26-point lead, but it really came down to free throws. And not only Ben's. Joel Embiid, you missed 2 crucial free throws. Now, by the time you're seeing this video, Paul George, he just missed 2 free throws at the end. And everybody's talking about it. Joel Embiid got off the hook because Ben went for 14, but I'm not going to forget that, Joel Embiid. You make those 2 free throws, we could still possibly win the game. But that game's not on you. I'm looking at Doc Rivers playing Shake Milton and playing George Hill 12, 13 minutes, and they combined only made 2 shots. I'm looking at Thibault. I don't understand why Thibault's only playing 23 minutes where he's our second best defender. And out of everybody, Matisse Thibault gives it his all on offense. He was 2 for 2 from the 3-point line. There's no reason Furkan Korkmaz is playing more minutes than him. There's no reason why Tobias Harris is only playing 37 minutes in a must-win game. No reason. I don't care that you're in foul trouble. Foul out then. Seth Curry, foul trouble. One thing about the Sixers in this game and the games moving forward, we were in foul trouble, but I don't care. I don't. They need to be smarter players. And Doc Rivers, you got to trust your players because at the end of the day, our bench could not be trusted. They could not be trusted. And so now we're down 3-2. We're down 3-2. We lose at the crib. Again, let me tell you, number 1 seed in the East, one of the best home teams for the past couple of years, and you lose 2 games so far at home. So far, you lost 2 games at home. 2 must-win games back-to-back. You blow an 18-point lead and a 26-point lead, and they're both the same reasons why. You put your foot on the pedal in the first half, and you let go in the second half. Instead of keep building on upon that lead, you want to rest the starters. You want to put the bench out there. You want to put all bench lineups in that do not work. Because at the end of the day, like I said, I picked Shake Milton, to win 6th Man of the Year, but he had 1 good game in this series. He was very inconsistent. All of our bench guys was very inconsistent. Furkan Korkmaz is a guy who, used to be a spark plug for us at times coming off the bench. He had to start because Danny Green went down. Light bulb. Why don't you put Matisse Thibault in some more of the starters and have Furkan on with the bench so now you got a shooter you can have off the bench? I'm just saying, but what do I know? What do I really know? So now I was going to Game 6. Game 6, we were able to be victorious, Sloppy game, though. Sloppy game. It was a good win. It was a good one, but I said this. Please do not win in Atlanta because I tell you this, after Game 4 and Game 5, all hope was gone for me. I lost it all. You blow an 18-point lead and a 26-point lead. What faith should I have in you that you'll get the job done? Because not only have you been very consistent the past couple of years, but the head coach is somebody who I cannot trust. I'm looking at my star point guard, man. Can I really trust him? I'm looking at everybody else. Joel Embiid's playing on a torn meniscus. Who's going to consistently step up? We need more than one guy to do it. So now I'm losing faith in my team because we don't look hungry and we don't look motivated. And so going on to game 6, it was what it was for me. Yes, I wanted us to win, but I was not going to be emotionally involved. I wasn't going to be mentally, hurt if we lost this game. I lost all hope. We weren't able to win game 6. A close game, very close game, and I didn't like how close it was. Battling back and forth, we ended up pulling away in the fourth quarter with some crucial stops, and some crucial buckets down the line. Tyrese Maxey stepped up, and me and my guy Brock, you want to see a tweet? Bam. Bam. Me and my guy Brock, man, shout out to him, one of the young guys killing it right now on the Sixers content, doing his thing. We talked about how important Maxey would be, and we knew how big, of a draft pick he was, and he, showed out. Had a couple of big games in this entire playoffs. I wish he'd have got more minutes. He's a young guy. He was aggressive. He wasn't scared of the moment. And he had a big reason why we won game 6. But now, let's move on to game 7. Game 7. Now I said, please don't win game 6 just to come to the crib and go out like some chumps. How should I start this? Let's start with the box score. Hewlett, 27 points, 10 for 18, 2 for 4 from the three-point line. Trae Young, 21 points, 23 shots, 2 for 11 from the three-point line. You get 17 from Gallinari, 14 from Collins. I look at the Sixers. You get 24 from, you get 24 from Tobias, but on 24 shots. You get 31 from Embiid, he's 11 for 21. You get 16 from Curry, 60% shooting across the board. Yeah, I'm lost after that because you get nothing. This is an ugly game, like I said. Way too many live ball turnovers throughout the game. Way too many live ball turnovers. It came out like we had no energy. We had no energy. You see this right here? Let me scoot over so I can really show you. You see this right here? These were the keys I had for the Philadelphia 76ers to be successful. And I'm going to read them. I'm going to read them for you. Here are the keys. 1, get Tobias Harris going early. Yeah, he was going. He wasn't knocking down no shots. Shooting way too many jumpers. Look at the shot chart. 2, 30 points from the bench. I got 2 points from Maxey, 0 for 2. I got 0 points from Dwight Howard in 7 minutes. I got 3 points from George Hill in 21 minutes. I got 8 points from Thibault. He did his thing. I got 2 points from Milton in 5 minutes. Confused on why, Tobias Harris isn't playing for all 48. Play all 48. You was in foul trouble. I don't care. You need to play all 48. Joel, I love you. You should have played 43, 44 plus minutes. I know your knee is hurting, but it wasn't hurting when you was dropping 40. Ben Simmons, he's in foul trouble. I don't care. You need to play more than 35 minutes. You're supposed to be a superstar point guard, right? We're going to get to him at the end. Point being is, though, we got really 0 to no production from our bench. Our leading scorer off our bench was Matisse Thybulle, and he's known for his defense. Then I said Doc Rivers has to outcoach Nate McMillan. Obviously, that didn't happen. No adjustments in Game 7. No adjustments in Game 7. No real adjustments, because obviously, we're at home. Not even at home. Yeah, we don't deserve to go to Cancun. We don't even deserve to be in Philly, so I don't care where the players are right now. Point being is that we're not in the Eastern Conference Finals against Milwaukee tonight because Doc Rivers got outcoached. You say Trae Young is having a bad game. The defense, he's missing shots. He doesn't have no rhythm, right? But is one guy that's consistently keeping the Atlanta Hawks in the game while Joel Embiid is doing his thing. Our superstar is going off. There is not, but they're still in the game. Why? Because of Hubert. 27 points. He's killing Seth Curry. So in my mind, I say, why not put a bigger defender on Hubert? Why not double team him? Why not pressure the ball? Why not get the ball out of his hands? Why not do more? You wanted to go small this time. At points we have George Hill and Gallinari. That's why Gallinari is going on. George Hill gave us no production. I'm confused. And I understand Danny Green's hurt, so the rotation has to be a little different. At the end of the day, players got to play better, and Doc, you got to coach better. Just mismatches all across the board and no adjustments. We're not putting Thibault on Gallinari. We're not putting Thibault on Hubert. They're just going off on us. That's rough. The other one, Ben Simmons has to be aggressive. Let's talk about aggressive Ben. Let's watch the clip right now of Ben Simmons being ultra aggressive, you know. The Ben that bragged about scoring 42 points on Rudy Gobert. The Ben that said he's not a scorer, but was averaging like 23, 8, and 8 for the month of February. Again, this guy was bragging about scoring 42 on Gobert. Called himself, yeah, I don't score that much. But he knows how important scoring is for him to be successful. And so let's look at this clip. Watching it right now. Posting up Gallinari. Drop step. Boom. Let's pause it. Let's look at let's look at Ben Simmons right here. Who's under the basket? It ain't Clint Capella. It's not John Collins. It's 5'10", 160 pounds sucking wet Trae Young. You had no problem finishing against Rudy Gobert. You had no problem celebrating when you're dunking on Clint Capella. When you're dunking on all these centers. When you're finishing at the basket flexing. But when you got 5'10" Trae Young under the basket. Yeah, he's going to foul you. But he's not jumping up with you. That should be easy dunk. And I'm saying dunk because I'm tired of layups. Dunk the ball. Get the for sure 2 points. But instead, let's watch the clip. He passes to Matisse Thybulle and forces him to go up on two guys that are about 6'9", 6'10", puts his hands up complaining, oh, where's the foul at, ref? You should have dunked the ball. Asking where the foul at. Asking where the foul at. And you see right there, Joel Embiid is talking about, yo, in my mind, I'm thinking, why are you not putting up the ball? And let's watch this clip right here. Let's watch this clip of Joel Embiid's reaction of when Ben Simmons didn't dunk that ball. What? He's frustrated because we're all frustrated because Ben Simmons, you're 6'10". You're 6'10". And I have a whole separate video on Ben, so I'm really not going to dive into it right now. But when it comes to this series in general, Ben, and you said you have regrets, but you should not have regrets. You got to put out all on the court. You got to put it all on the court. Joel Embiid did on the torn meniscus. Seth Curry did his thing, but where were you at, Ben Simmons? Yes, you provided a great resource on defense because you did your thing. But the offense, man, there's no excuse for that. You're scared you're going to shoot a free throw. Well, why not? Why don't you just finish at the rim so instead of shooting 2, you can shoot 1? Common sense. You're scared about shooting a free throw. Get to for sure 2. Have a chance at an and 1 instead of being scared, get fouled, and now you're going to miss both free throws. You realize in this series, Ben Simmons shot the worst free throw percentage, I believe, in NBA history by a player. And he's our main ball handler. You realize Ben Simmons probably in this entire playoff run missed more free throws than Steve Nash did in his entire career. He missed more free throws as the Hawks did as a team, that the Clippers did as a team, that the Nets did as a team. Mentally weak. And so I say all that to say, when I said Ben has to be aggressive, Ben passed up on at least 14 points this game. At least. I'm talking about just not looking at the rim. You know, he could have did a move to get to the basket a lot of times to, get that 14 to 20 plus. But I'm talking about when the rim is right there, and all he has to do is run straight at it. But instead, he wants to dribble out and he wants to pass it to a shooter and he wants to do all these things other than score the ball. Yeah, you want to say you want to get your teammates involved, but the more you score, the more that they get easy and open shots. At this point, if I was a defender, I wouldn't even look at him at the rim because I know he's going to try to kick it out. Ben was not aggressive. Let's look at the next one. Somebody other than Curry has to knock down a 3. That didn't happen. Let's look at the box score. Seth Curry, 3 for 5. Embiid, 2 for 5. Tobias Harris, 2 for 7. 1 for 5 from Korkmaz. 0 for 1 from Maxey. 0 for 2 from Hill. 1 for 2 from Thybulle. 0 for 1 from Milton. Nobody else was knocking down threes. Furkan Korkmaz was in a lineup for one reason. It wasn't for his defense. It was to knock down open shots. And he did not do that since he was put in the starting lineup. He failed at his job. The next one. Play aggressive and disciplined on the defensive end. They were ultra aggressive because everybody was in foul trouble, but that's not discipline. Simple rules. You don't pick up dumb fouls in Game 7, especially when you're a starter. You just want to reach at the ball just to reach out of frustration. You pick up 3 fouls in the second. Pick up 4 fouls in the early third quarter. You don't do that. They were not disciplined on defense throughout the entire game. They had times and stretches where they were getting stops, but most of our starters had foul trouble. Why? A lot of dumb fouls. A lot of dumb fouls that if you were disciplined wouldn't have happened. That means you could have played longer. Tobias could have played all 48. Ben could have played 40 plus. Seth could have been on the court more. But it's just a lot of ticky-tack dumb fouls that you just don't do and you don't pick up in Game 7. And that's what the Philadelphia 76ers did. Last year was a play with a sense of urgency. Throughout the game, you would see spurts of, them being energetic. But I felt like the crowd was carrying them in a game. If we were playing this, early when it was, no crowd, but that's how the playoffs was, we lose this game. The crowds was keeping the energy. It wasn't the players. They weren't doing nothing to keep the crowd into it. They weren't doing nothing to keep themselves into it. It was just little burst, little burst, little burst. It was never consistent energy, and it was never a consistent sense of urgency that I saw from the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's why we ended up losing this game. And it sucks, and it hurts. Because this team is better than that. Way better than that. But instead, the number one seed in the Eastern Conference, you fight so hard, to be that number one seed, to have home court advantage. And let me get this right. You lose 3 games at home. So the 4 games that the Hawks won. They only won one of it at the crib. Only one at the crib. 3 of their wins came on the road. Mentally weak. Coaches' problems not making adjustments. Because look at all the games we lost. Blowing leads on the road. Then at home you blow leads and you don't make any adjustments. We dominated 4 games out of this series. 4 games in a row. Matter of fact, game 2, game 3, game 4, game 5. But you lost the last 2. Had an 18-point lead and had a 26-point lead. You won 2 and 3 by 16. You dominated 4 games in a row. This series should have been over in 5. Really should have been over in 4 if they woke up at game 1. We only lost by 4. So I don't want to sit up here and say the better team, when I say the more disciplined, the better coach team won this series. But the Philadelphia 76ers dominated 4 games and they still lost. And that's a problem. So before I, end this video, here are some of the takeaways, that I got from this game. First, Doc Rivers, terrible coaching series. Terrible rotations. Here's the picture right here. One of the rotations. Matter of fact, I'll read it to you right now so you don't got to read it to yourself. Let's read this. So, Doc, the third most played lineup during the playoffs was George Hill, Shake, Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris, and Dwight Howard. That's 4 starters in Tobias. Again, there's no reason why 2 out of the 3 starters aren't playing with the bench unit at all time. And especially, UK, you played 1 with a little bit, but that was the third most played lineup. There's 4 guys off the bench and 1 starter. Yeah, Doc had a terrible series, made no adjustments, had terrible rotations. No end game. Like, how you a coach and you make no end game adjustments? None. The dude makes no adjustments. Let me read you this. Boom. There it goes right there if you want to see it. Most losses by a coach in NBA history in the playoffs games where he had a shot to clinch the series. Again, we're up 2-1 and blew a 16-point lead. Just saying. Lost 5 Game 7s at home, most in NBA history. Lost 4 Game 7s. Tied. Straight Game 7s. Tied for the longest losing streak Game 7s by any coach in NBA history. And there's so much more, but I'm going to save it, for another Sixers episode. Another thing I want to talk about, a takeaway I had from this series. George Hill and Shake Milton, they were nowhere to be found. If I pull up the averages, from this series, and I go to the Philadelphia 76ers, George Hill average, where's this, a whopping 2 points in close to 16 minutes. Shake, he averaged 5 points, 10.5 minutes, but again, Shake Milton was our 6th man basically throughout the entire year. Shake Milton was averaging 14 points throughout the entire year. Got cold at the wrong time, and it lasted throughout the playoffs. Traded for George Hill, something else I'm going to talk about in another episode. Again, wherever you at, you got the experience. Your game is supposed to be a guy that could be a playmaker, can knock down threes, could play defense, play 16 minutes. Really the most out of any guard coming off the bench in this series, but you were not productive. You disappointed us. Again, I get upset we go all bench lineups because our bench did not perform. But in actuality, even though we don't have the greatest bench, I look at Shake, he's supposed to be a scorer. George Hill, what he did, for Milwaukee, what he did at San Antonio, what he did with the Pacers, what he did with all these other teams, I expect the same type of production with the Philadelphia 76ers, especially coming off the bench. Didn't have that. Dwight Howard just simply, he can't stay on the court against a mobile center, against a guard that's just going to pick and roll you to death. That's where we need to stretch 4 and stretch 5 at. But, Thibault did his best. And Maxey, in limited minutes as a rookie, he did his best. I expected more from everybody else. Those two guys really let me down the entire series. Yeah, but the entire bench did basically as well, And about Maxey real quick, he was a great pickup. Again, I showed you the tweet from me and my guy Brock, man. Maxey was a beast this series, in the minutes he had. I understand he's a rookie, so he's going to be here and there, but he had a huge game. And I feel like if he played more than 11 minutes a game, if he got more Shakes minutes or more George Hill minutes, I feel like he'd have been way more effective. Tobias Harris, not worth $37 million. That's what I learned from this series. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but, averaged 19 points on 47% from the field, 36% from the three-point line. I don't know nobody else getting paid that much, Their one job is to score. You weren't even a second leading scorer. Again, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but, Tobias Harris he didn't show up this series. He was just average. He wasn't above average. I look at Chris Middleton. Everybody, tried to compare them to, they're not an all-star. They don't do this. They don't do that. Well, Chris Middleton is giving 30 balls against the Nets in the playoffs. Chris Middleton, 30 balls in closing game. He is showing up when it counts. I didn't see that from Tobias. Chris Middleton's over Tobias. Let's talk about Seth Curry. Everybody was shocked saying, Seth. Understand Seth Curry's been doing this with the Blazers. He did this with the Mavericks, but he wasn't in a starting position. That means he wasn't getting starter opportunities. With the Philadelphia 76ers, he's getting starter opportunities, and he made the most of it. Averaged 21 points with about 60% from the three-point line and 60% from the field. He showed up when it mattered. He showed up when it counts, and I'm glad we have him on contract. I hope we re-up him. I hope, Tobias needs to take a pay cut and give some of that money to Seth Curry because he was a beast this entire series and throughout this entire playoffs. He was the second best player by far. It's not close. I look at Embiid, with Embiid, what I learned from this series is, man, he can't do too much. He's on a torn meniscus, so it's kind of hard. But it's just like, I look at Embiid, you look at his averages. 30 points, about 13 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. If he's fully healthy, can things go different? Yes. But he still had a great series. I think Embiid still needs to work on his handle. Since you want to be so perimeter-oriented, which I hate, if you're going to do it, at least be good at it. He way too many turnovers. I think he had 20-plus turnovers in the last 3 games. He had a crucial turnover in Game 7, right after that stupid play by, Ben Simmons. We call up a pin down for Embiid. He drives, he loses the ball. If you want to watch it, I might play it right here for a little bit. But, yeah, pretty much, Embiid was dominant. I think he still is the best center in the game. I just still think he has a lot to work on, which is scary to say he has a lot to work on when he's averaging 30 and 13 in the playoffs, against a very good ball club. And so, yeah, with him, I think he just need to work on a few things, but he had a dominant series. And lastly but not least, man, Ben Simmons. I'm going to save some of it, for my episodes coming out this week, but Ben Simmons was a liability. You get paid that much to not even average 10 points, ridiculous. 33% from the free throw line, ridiculous. Only put up 45 shots in 7 games. Can't do it. But again, man, I'm not trying to take up too long. That's a wrap for this episode. Just want to say thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everybody, tuning in. I got a lot of stuff playing throughout this week. Friday. I'm going to be talking about more Ben Simmons. A whole YouTube video just for Ben Simmons. This weekend, I'm going to be going live. I don't know if it's Saturday, Sunday yet. I'm going to be live on Facebook. I'm going to be live on Twitch. Probably YouTube as well. Come hop in. Come join in. The link I'm going to be sharing all throughout my social media so you guys can hop in. But again, man, thank you all for the love. Thank you all for the support. The links down below for my social medias. Make sure you give them a follow. Make sure you give them a like. Let's interact. Let's talk sports. Let's talk Sixers. Thank you for watching. Peace out.